date is December 15th, 2025. When the clock strikes midnight, unexpected activity occurred in the official database of the United States Department of Justice. A folder titled Epstein_archive_final, along with thousands of subfiles, has been made publicly available. This was the moment the world had been waiting for. But there was something strange. These files weren't appearing one by one, but rather flooding into the system. Before people even understand what's happening, data miners in the darkest corners of the internet have started copying these files because they knew that so many truths could never be allowed to come to light at the same time. And so it happened. Exactly 4 hours after the files were uploaded, the system was shut down for maintenance. But it was too late now. That massive archive of 30,000 pages of blackmail evidence was now out in the open. Today, those darkest pages that leaked out in that 4-hour window and were then hastily erased. We're opening the Epstein files. So, what did we see in those 4 hours? Why did the Ministry of Justice hastily withdraw these files? The first 5,000 pages of the leaked documents contained Epstein's financial records from the late 1990s. However, after page 5,000, a section titled Sensitive Diplomatic Persons began. That's where the storm broke. This section includes not only names, but also screenshots of hidden camera footage from hotel lobbies, bank transfer receipts, and more importantly, some individuals had signed logbooks showing their entry and exit times from Epstein's private properties. Digital archivists managed to recover 90% of these documents before the system shut down. These 30,000 pages before us do not merely tell us about the crimes of one man. It proves to us how the modern world is governed by a network of blackmail. Was this leak a mistake, or an internal power struggle within the system? That's the real question. At the deepest point of the files, there is a folder coded as M-Files, money files. The 2025 documents confirm that Epstein was not just a rich man, but a massive money laundering machine. According to the documents, between 2012 and 2017, a total of $400 million in traffic was managed through shell companies in the Virgin Islands. Where did this money come from? According to the documents, this money was paid to some of the world's richest technology giants under the guise of consulting fees. And it came from some foundations of Middle Eastern origin. But the truly shocking detail in the files was the origin of this money. Some of the money was allocated under the guise of maintenance expenses on Epstein's island. In reality, these were hush money payments made to the families of miners. Each receipt bore a cold note at the bottom: services received, confidentiality agreement signed. These receipts, which the Ministry of Justice is trying to erase, show that today the crime is not only sexual. It also proves that there is a global financial corruption problem. Everything comes to a standstill on page 14,000 of the leak. There is a figure that the prosecutors refer to as Subject A in their internal notes. All the correspondence reveals an incredible amount of respect and fear for this person. In an email sent in 2015, Ghislaine Maxwell wrote, "I wasn't happy with the meeting in New York. She wants a more private location." The 2025 leak revealed, for the first time, the coordinates of this special place. A mansion in Scotland, very close to the royal family. Although everyone assumes this name refers to Prince Andrew, a detail in the new documents is causing confusion. The IP addresses from which the emails were sent did not belong to a government building in London. It goes directly to a European Union diplomatic mission. This means that Subject A is not just a member of the royal family. They could also be an active diplomat with diplomatic immunity. When this part of the files was leaked, it is claimed that the phones between Brussels and London never stopped ringing. Who is this invisible man? And why is his name still being covered with black tape even in 2025? Now let's talk about the most famous tool of this dark web, Lolita Express. The 2025 leak revealed not only the plane's routes, but also the pilot's confidential cockpit notes. These notes include technical pauses that were not mentioned in previous official records. For example, why did a plane land on an unnamed Caribbean island one spring evening in 2002, even though it wasn't on its planned route? The documents state that the passenger list for this flight was cleared, but notes taken by local staff during refueling indicate that. The flight information indicates that there was a very famous Hollywood producer and 2 young girls on board. A sentence in the pilot's confession notes leaked in 2025 stands out. The air inside the plane became heavier as the passengers changed. On times, not knowing what was happening behind the scenes was the safest option. These flights were not just travel, they were a transfer of a crime scene, and the 2025 documents expand the geography of this crime. We are now in the hottest region. 2 giants of American politics, Trump and Clinton. The 2025 documents reveal new and disturbing details about the relationship between both individuals and Epstein. On the Clinton side, some of the humanitarian aid trips made in the early 2000s. Invoices showing that Epstein's team provided logistical support have been leaked. Some accommodation lists, especially for trips to Africa. It has been documented that Clinton's team and Epstein's guests stayed on the same hotel floor. On the other hand, Donald Trump. The files contain new photos showing Epstein as a special guest at parties Trump hosted at Mar-a-Lago in the 1990s. But the real bombshell in the 2025 leak is a classified memo from an FBI agent dated 2017. The relationship between Trump and Epstein was more professional than previously thought. They knew each other's secrets. The file tells us this. These people weren't just friends. They were different pawns in a power game. And the 2025 leak reveals the rules of this game. Epstein's massive estate in New Mexico, Zorro Ranch. The 2025 leak revealed, for the first time, blueprints of the massive server rooms located beneath this property. These plans prove that the mansion was designed as an intelligence-gathering center rather than a mere residence. Fiber optic cable channels are hidden in the walls of each bedroom, behind the mirrors. A witness statement in the 2025 document said, "There was a red light flashing all over the house." Jeffrey would say it was for security, but we knew we were being recorded at all times. It is reported. So where are these records? According to a DOJ note included in the leak, these rooms were empty during the 2019 raid. However, the 2025 documents reveal that a copy of these videos was uploaded to an encrypted system called vCloud. And today, they claim that this code is still in the hands of some secret services. Zorro Ranch wasn't a crime den. It was a global blackmail factory. Epstein's network wasn't limited to politicians. He wanted to control minds and technology as well. The 2025 leak even includes menu cards for secret dinners with Silicon Valley big names. New emails have leaked suggesting that Bill Gates' donation discussions with Epstein were actually an attempt at a much deeper financial partnership. Gates' note to an advisor, "My relationship with Jeffrey is complicated but beneficial," became the most talked about line in the file. On the other hand, beyond Stephen Hawking's famous island photograph, it is emerging how many figures in the scientific world were manipulated through Epstein's funds. The 2025 documents reveal that Epstein invested millions of dollars in transhumanism and genetic engineering projects. And he whispers that some unethical experiments were conducted on these projects. Science, art, and technology. Had Epstein held the future of humanity hostage for his own dark ambitions? August 10th, 2019. The morning Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell was not just the end of a trial. It was the beginning of a massive cover-up operation. The 2025 leak revealed previously unpublished internal communications between guards regarding that night. A note found in the files is chilling. The camera malfunction was not technical, but a manual intervention. A new autopsy analysis included in the 2025 documents shows that the fractures in Epstein's neck do not match a typical suicide case. It includes a commentary from an independent pathologist who claims it indicates a professional strangulation technique. If Epstein didn't die, or if his death was orchestrated, who was in that hallway that night? Do these pages, which the Ministry of Justice is trying to erase, actually reveal how the system protects its own executioner? Ghislaine Maxwell, who is said to be the mastermind of the network. The 2025 files contain copies of some of the letters Maxwell wrote from his prison cell, which were later censored. In these letters, Maxwell sent a message to his old friends on the outside. My silence won't last forever. Fulfill the terms of the agreement. The 2025 leak also revealed secret payments made to Maxwell's family and foundations in exchange for protecting certain individuals. The documents show that Maxwell was not actually a prisoner, but a hostage. The people he protects are so powerful that his statement will not only cause a scandal, it could lead to the collapse of Western democracies. The millions of dollars spent to silence Maxwell, whose freedom are they actually buying? What about those videos? Were those hard drives that were known to be in every one of Epstein's mansions? An internal FBI memo included in the 2025 leak states that shortly before the 2019 raid, a group codenamed X entered the mansion and removed the main servers containing the digital records. The claim in the documents is shocking. These records are not currently in the hands of a single state, but rather a multinational intelligence consortium. Blackmail is no longer an individual crime, but has become a tool of interstate diplomacy. Could the leader of one country be forced to bow to another country because of a single image captured on Epstein's camera? The 2025 files whisper to us, the world may be governed not by elections as we think, but by those video recordings in secret vaults. The 30,000-page 2025 leaks proved one thing to us. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a man. He was a system. A system that holds us all hostage at that dark crossroads where power, money, and depravity converge. Today's leak of these files, is it a manifestation of justice or a harbinger of a new era of blackmail? Perhaps none of these videos will ever be made public. But now we know. We know who is behind the shadows, where those planes are flying, and how expensive silence is. The Jeffrey Epstein case is not closed. It has simply entered a new phase. And remember, a secret is something two people know. If one of those two people is no longer alive, the other one is always in danger. Whose door do you think the next leak will knock on? Let's discuss in the comments. This is the Epstein Files. Keep searching for the truth.